I'm going to say something this fan base can feel before it ever reaches the scoreboard. These Patriots are trying to turn pain into an answer. After getting so close, losing the Super Bowl, and hearing people talk about New England like it was some nice little accident, every single detail hits harder now. A forgotten player is fighting to become a starter. An offensive piece is coming in to raise the floor of the run game. There is a real warning sign on the edge, and Drake Maye is starting to get star-level respect. Hit the like button and subscribe because today is about wounded pride, an open window, and serious pressure building in Foxborough. Cory Durden is the kind of story that feels small until you remember how winning teams are actually built. Not every starter walks in with first-round hype, national interviews, and a campaign already waiting for him. Sometimes a player comes through the side door, eats the frustration, stays on the practice squad, waits for one crack to open, and when that jersey finally feels heavy on his shoulders, he proves he was never just there to fill out practice reps. And I love this story because it fits a deep piece of the Patriots' identity. Earn ground through strength, contact, and repetition, without asking anybody for permission. A year ago, Durden could not stick on the Giants roster and ended up finding a home on New England's practice squad. Now, according to Avery Hill of the Boston Globe, he is fighting to become the Patriots' starting nose tackle. And the best part is not just the opportunity itself, it is the way he is talking about it. Durden said he is entering this year seeing himself as nose tackle number 1, wanting to take that next step, even bringing up the Pro Bowl and saying the sky is the limit. That does not sound like a player just trying to hang around. That sounds like a player who knows his career just flipped. Put the path right on the table. Durden is 6'4", 305 pounds, came out of NC State, signed with the Lions as an undrafted free agent in 2023, did not stick there, went through the Rams, appeared in 4 games as a rookie, then landed with the Giants, where he made 10 tackles in 4 games. Up to that point, he looked like the classic defender the league keeps moving from one stop to the next. But New England saw something. Before Week 1, the Patriots signed him to the roster, and then he played all 17 games in a 14-win, division-winning regular season. That changes the whole story. He played 383 defensive snaps, finished with 30 tackles, 17 pressures, and 5 tackles for loss. In the playoffs, he added 13 more pressures. In the Super Bowl against Seattle, even in that painful 29-13 loss, Durden played 39 defensive snaps, more than Khyiris Tonga. And when Tonga left in free agency to sign with the Chiefs for 3 years and $21 million, the road suddenly got a lot cleaner. Look at the shape of that defensive line now. Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, and Durden potentially creating a heavy, violent, hard-to-move front. Joshua Farmer, Leonard Taylor III, and Eric Gregory are going to battle in the summer too, of course. Nobody earns a job in Foxborough just by talking. But if Mike Vrabel has made it clear Durden is in a favorable spot, that tells you the team does not view him as some roster curiosity. They view him as a real starting possibility. And this is where I get emotional, because the NFL throws players away fast. Labels stick fast too. Didn't make it with the Lions, bounced around with the Rams, couldn't hold a spot with the Giants. But sometimes the right environment meets the right player at the right time. If Durden turns that quiet anger into stability in the middle of the defense, New England does not just gain a nose tackle, it sends a message to the entire locker room. In Foxborough, opportunity is not just decoration, it is a test. And the guys who can handle that test can change their lives. And if Durden represents the raw fight in the defensive trenches, Reggie Gilliam speaks to another obsession that has to return in New England: control. Control of formation, rhythm, second down, short yardage, and how a defense reacts before the snap even happens. The Patriots already had Jack Westover and Brock Lampy on the 90-man roster, but they still went after Gilliam early in free agency with a 3-year, $10.8 million deal. That does not feel random. That feels like Josh McDaniels saying he wants a fuller chessboard. Gilliam comes in at 29 years old from Buffalo with 94 regular season games and 14 playoff games on his resume. He is not only a big fullback who crashes his helmet into the first linebacker he sees. The nickname Sledge fits the contact absolutely, but his value shows up a lot when he is moving. Motion, outside zone, second-level blocking, pre-snap adjustment, the kind of detail that does not become a headline but does become 4 yards when the play looked dead. Then come the numbers that sting a little for this fan base, because they show exactly where New England had to get better. Buffalo, with Gilliam in 2-back packages, averaged 4.9 yards per carry last season. The Patriots in those same groupings sat at 3.1 yards and negative EPA per rush. That is not some luxury stat. That is the difference between selling play action with authority and a defense staring at Drake Maye thinking, "We know you're throwing." Gilliam was also part of the Bills' tush-push, driving behind Josh Allen, while New England sat closer to the middle of the league on quarterback sneaks. And on special teams, he made 13 tackles, a personal best, while also working as a blocker on kickoff returns. To me, this is the kind of signing that shows respect for detail. It is not the move that makes everybody scream in the first minute. It is the move that shows up in December, when a drive has to stay alive, when 1 yard changes the game, when the offense needs to protect Maye without putting everything on his arm. But nobody should act like Gilliam fixes everything by himself. He only has 8 career carries for 14 yards, so his main value is not becoming the ball carrier on 3rd and 1. His value is creating angles. It is giving McDaniels a piece that changes the defense's read. It is making the offense feel more physical without becoming predictable. And after a season where New England climbed all the way up and still walked away with an open wound, those small levers might be what separates a good offense from a truly grown-up one. There is one part of this roster that will not let me relax, and I am not going to dress it up just because I defend the Patriots. The edge is a serious concern. New England lost K'Lavon Chaisson in free agency, brought in Dre'Mont Jones, and a lot of people see that move as lateral, maybe even less than ideal. Then the team spent a second-round pick on Jesus and even traded up to do it. The problem is that so far the practical return has become anxiety. Jesus did not show up at OTAs, and the questions around injury and contract status make the picture tighter than it should be. That kind of issue hits a fan right in the gut, because the AFC does not forgive an incomplete pass rush. You can have organized coverage, young talent, and a beautiful plan on the board. If the opposing quarterback gets comfortable, he turns all of it into a walk in the park. And with Harold Landry III also dealing with physical issues, the edge room cannot live on hope alone. That is why Elijah Ponder becomes such an important name right now. Greg Bedard of Boston Sports Journal said the team really likes what it sees from the second-year player. And when an undrafted guy starts earning that kind of comment inside a roster trying to get back to the Super Bowl, I pay attention. Ponder arrived in 2025 with no guarantees, played 15 games, posted 24 tackles, 4 sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries. For a defense that badly needed edge production, 4 sacks from a player with that profile are not a footnote. They are a survival signal. What excites me about Ponder is the chance for a jump. He is 6'3", 260 pounds, has already felt the speed of the league, has already produced in real games, and now enters year 2 with a path that can grow through need and merit at the same time. But the concern is sitting right there too. If Ponder becomes the best answer, great, I will celebrate it. But a serious plan cannot depend only on one bet leveling up while the second-round rookie is unresolved and Landry is not completely clear. Vrabel understands defense. He knows pressure is not decoration, it is oxygen. A Patriots defense with Barmore inside, Durden taking space, linebackers running, and a competitive secondary still needs people closing the pocket from the outside. Without that, quarterbacks around the league are going to extend plays, find the second read, and steal control of the game's emotions. So the read here has 2 layers. First, Ponder could be a hidden gem, and I love when New England finds value where the league looked too quickly. Second, the front office should still be looking for help before the season starts. Both things can be true at the same time. Rooting for Ponder's jump does not mean accepting passivity. It means recognizing the opportunity while still demanding protection against the worst-case scenario. Then we get to Drake Maye, because this whole script eventually comes back to him. Brian Diardo of CBS Sports placed Maye as a Tier 2 quarterback, a borderline star. And I am saying this as a fan who still feels that Seattle loss sitting heavy. That respect is earned, but it still feels late. The kid took the Patriots back to the Super Bowl in his second season, pushed into the MVP conversation, and finished 2025 with 4,394 yards, 31 touchdowns, and a 72% completion rate. That is not some vague promise. That is production from a quarterback who has already changed the ceiling of the franchise. The painful part is wondering what that Super Bowl would have looked like if Maye had not gotten hurt against Denver in the AFC Championship game. That 29-13 loss to the Seahawks left one question stuck in everyone's throat. Not as an excuse, but as fuel. And Maye's own words show the right mindset. He said getting that close is humbling, that everybody says, you'll be back. But it is not that easy, and the group has to get back to work to prove it can earn another shot. That is exactly what I want to hear from a quarterback in New England. Then comes the part that changes the weight of next season. Maye has A.J. Brown on his side, and when you put Brown, Romeo Doubs, and Elijah Vera Tucker into the offseason conversation, you are not just giving the offense names. You are giving real support to a quarterback who had to carry a lot very early. Since entering the NFL, Brown ranks 4th in receiving yards with 8,029, and fourth in receiving touchdowns with 56. He and Jamar Chase are the only players with at least 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns in each of the last 4 seasons. That is elite. That changes coverage. That changes defensive courage. The schedule is heavy. Seahawks, Steelers, Jaguars, Bills, Raiders, Jets, Bears, Dolphins, Packers, Lions, Chargers, Vikings, Chiefs, the Jets again, and Broncos. There is no easy ride. But that is exactly why respect for Maye has to turn into fear. He is not entering year 3 as a kid learning how not to sink. He is entering as a quarterback who has already felt the biggest stage, knows the bitter taste of getting close, and now has a receiver capable of punishing any defense that tries to treat New England like a small offense. So, Patriots community, I want to feel that green light from you. Should Maye already be treated like an AFC star, or does he still need to rip that label away by force in 2026? Because to me, the league can debate tiers all it wants. In Foxborough, the question is heavier. With this quarterback, this coach, and this roster getting real adjustments, New England is trying to turn respect into a title chase. When you pull the whole thread together, this is what connects it all. Durden trying to take over the middle of the defense, Gilliam arriving to give the offense more body, Ponder trying to become an answer on the edge, and Maye starting to get the kind of respect a Patriots quarterback has to carry. None of that erases the pain of the Super Bowl. It actually raises the demand. But it also shows a team that is not standing still staring at the wound. It is moving, competing, searching for margin. If you believe New England can come back stronger, subscribe, hit the like button, and stay right here, because this season is going to demand heart, patience, and hunger for revenge.